Good morning, morning. I think I'm live. I don't know why I say I think I'm live. I should know by now. There's a little thing that says live. So I think I am live. So welcome everybody to episode 12 of Resilience Live. And I need to just go live on Instagram. So if you give me a second while I do that on here, and I'll give you a minute to join. And then when we're ready, we'll kick off with today's topic, which is all about burnout. So you can have a little think about that. And if you actually experience burnout, okay, let's go. Hi, Saliha. Good morning to you, my sweet soul. How are you, darling? Are you well? Yeah, I am doing very great. Oh, and I just dropped my phone. Oh, sorry, peeps. Let's put that back up there. How are you, my lovely? Let me know. I'm just trying to set up my Instagram, and it's falling down today for some reason. I put away all my lighting and my stands, and now it's all a bit wobbly and a bit wonky. So I'm trying not to move the desk too much. Otherwise, sorry, Instagram people, you will be falling over frequently today. Hey, what I will do before I get on with this one is I've got to share something because I'm so excited. I'm having a book geek moment. Book geek moment. I pre-ordered this months ago. I don't normally pre-order. I think I've ever pre-ordered a book, but I was like, oh my God, I can't wait. It's huge though. A little bit intimidating. But this is called The Myth of Normal by the legend that is Dr. Gabor Mate. And if any of you have been on my trainings or follow my work or have known me for a while, you'll know that I'm obsessed with this guy. He's amazing. I've been trained by him. I've read a lot of his books and watched a lot of his videos. Super wise, super smart, super compassionate, beautiful, beautiful soul. So the myth of normal is trauma, illness, and healing in a toxic culture. So I haven't started it yet. I don't know when I'm going to read it. It's huge. I've got a lot of work to do as well. So I'll be doing my best to get through this, but I am looking forward to it. And he's a legend. And as I go through, I will absolutely share with you any tidbits because that's the thing. When I spend all my time reading, researching, and learning and training myself and developing myself is so that I can then incorporate that into what I do here on the lives or in my trainings or whatever it is, in my blogs and so on, so that I can pass the knowledge on. So I will absolutely be doing that. It's a massive book. It's going to take me a while, I'm sure. But The Myth of Normal, that title alone may give you something to ponder. You know, everyone's trying to be normal. What is normal? But actually, we're a bit messed up in our society, I'll be honest, particularly in our Western society. He calls it toxic culture, which is interesting because I'm going to talk about that now. Let's get on to the topic. It's probably one of the reasons why I overrun every time. It's because I spend the first 5, 10 minutes just gabbling on. But the topic today is burnout, dealing with burnout. And the reason I raised this one today, I mean, obviously it's important, it's a popular topic anyway, but it came to me today because I saw a poll on LinkedIn just yesterday or a couple of days ago. And I think about 13, 14, 15, maybe more people had actually done this poll. And the poll was what is causing your burnout? And the top two results were too high workloads, like being overworked, and toxic workplaces. And in total, the votes, and bear in mind, this is tens of thousands of people voted, or 15, like a lot of people, it's a very good sample size. I think it was about 85% of people said that the cause of their burnout was a toxic workplace or too much work. And then there was another option which said something else. Or no, the other one was being overcommitted. And I think I got 10% or something like that. And then the other one was other, and I got like 2%. So the reason that really struck me is firstly not to say that those things aren't a problem, right? Let's just get this clear. There are people overloaded with work, and it's crazy, and it affects you, and it burns you out. There are also toxic workplaces. I'm a little wary of using the word toxic. I think nowadays we like to throw these words around. That person's toxic. That place is toxic. Why? Because they don't agree with you? Why? Because they were just having a bad day and maybe didn't give you the attention you wanted in that moment? Or we got to be clear, not everything is toxic. Okay, sometimes we've just got groups of people having a rough time, or people are just being who they are and you don't quite know how to deal with it. Toxic is damaging. Think of the word toxic. If you're watching this, hold that word in your mind, toxic. What image comes to you when you think toxic? I think like poison and really harmful stuff, right? So to me, a toxic workplace is a workplace where maybe there is abuse, bullying, real taking advantage of people, lack of respect for people, boundaries, and lack of healthy boundaries. It's just treating people like they don't mean anything. It's unfairness, it's cheating, it's bribery, it's corruption, it's um, these things that are really, really damaging you. This to me is a toxic workplace, and there could be other things, things that really, really harmful for you. But other things that, workplaces may just be difficult. Okay, it may just be difficult because life is difficult and humans are difficult. So, anyway, that's a bit of a rant in a direction that's not quite relevant at the moment, but it is relevant. But I just want to be wary of the way we use the word toxic. But the point of what I'm saying here today is 85% of people said the cause of my burnout is out there. It's the workload out there. It's the toxic workplace out there. And I'd like to invite you today to look at this with me and consider that actually a big part of your burnout is here. It's you. And I know a lot of people going to get triggered by that. A lot of people, how dare you, Pinky? Oh my God, it's not me. Have you been to my office? Oh my God, it's so toxic. I'm not saying it's not. Let's get one thing clear. Yes, company cultures are toxic. Yes, people are massively overworked. Think about the NHS right now. Tell me in the comments if you know the actual number on the waiting list right now. It was 5 million. It might be up to 9. I don't know. Someone let me know what's the waiting list on the Imagine working in the NHS and having that on your plate. Of course you're going to get burnt out and stressed and all this sort of stuff. So yes, I'm not saying these things don't exist. I'm not saying they don't affect you. I'm not saying we don't need to address them. If you're leading a company or an organization or a team, you should be doing everything in your power to create a culture that promotes well-being and resilience and success and performance and health in your teams, and not the other way around. You should be taking responsibility for that and looking at how you create a culture of well-being and resilience in your organization. Not just because you want your staff to be healthy and well and do a good job, but I actually think it's a social responsibility. An organization is a unit of society, just like a family. If an organization is toxic and dysfunctional, just like a family, it's going to go out into society. How we interact with each other on the street, how we build relationships with other people, how our children grow up, what they learn, what patterns they have, and how they pass it on. The organization is a key building block of society, and in my belief, maybe a little bit utopian, but it's an organization's responsibility to contribute to society by creating a place where people can be well and healthy and grow and develop, so that they can come out of that workplace and be a great citizen and help all of us. So there's many reasons why an organization, in my view, should be taking responsibility for creating a culture as best as possible that is going to promote people's well-being and not cause people to burn out. So yes, 85% of people said that it's the workplace, it's the workload. And yeah, sure, I get that. I used to work in management consulting. It was a badge of honor to be burnt out. It was a gold medal to how stressed you could be. How much did you work this week? How many hours did you travel? How many projects are you doing? How many slides did you write? How many meetings have you got? Oh my God. The more you're doing, the more it's like you get high off it. It's an addiction and it's part of the culture. And then you start doing it together as a group. Oh yeah, how much more can we until we're dead? And people burn out, people leave the industry because that's the nature of the culture. Now, I love management consulting. I love consulting because the dynamic nature of it, the different projects, the different clients, the variety you get. Yes, it is fast paced. Yes, you got to work. Yes, you got deadlines. Yes, you got pressure. I actually also enjoy that. That's a way that I do enjoy things. But you can't do that all the time. You're going to go nuts. And that's unfortunately what happens. So that's not a healthy culture. So I get it. I get it. That's what I'm saying first and foremost. Before people get upset and say, Pinky, how dare you say that my burnout is my fault when I work in a company that's so toxic and they've got so much work and they don't let me have time off, whatever. I'm not saying that that stuff is not happening and that it doesn't need looking at. And I'm also not blaming, by the way. When I say your burnout is your responsibility, I don't say that to blame you and say, yeah, you did something wrong. It's your fault. I don't talk in terms of fault and right and wrong. I just talk in terms of reality of human nature. And the reality of human nature, as we're going to look at now, is that we cause our own burnout. And you can either take that as an insult and a concern and be offended, or you can take that as an opportunity to realize that that actually means that if your burnout is caused by you to some degree, you can also be the reason it resolves. If it's caused by you, it can be alleviated by you. So, this is actually really empowering information. If you're willing to get your ego out the way and the insecurities, which you all have, by the way, and say, wow, okay, let's look at this. Let's have a look. How am I contributing to my own burnout? And rather than putting my power out there, giving all my power away and saying it's the workplace, it's the person out there, it's the workload. I'm not saying those things aren't real and damaging and need to be looked at. But unless you're in responsibility and influence and control and be able to change that stuff, what is the point? There is a limited point of you focusing on that. You got to bring your power back home. Everything I do is about bring your power back here and learn what can I do, because I tell you something, when it comes to stress and burnout and things like that, there's so much more that you can do than you probably realize, because it's much easier and quicker to just say it's their fault, it's their fault. Hey, here's the line, you may have heard this. When you point the finger at somebody else, three fingers are also pointing back at you. It's all backwards, so I'm trying to, I'm pointing out there, three are pointing back at me. In all scenarios, you are not a bystander, you're not a victim, you're not a pebble being tossed around in the ocean of life. I know it can feel like that sometimes, but that's my invitation in my work, is to say, no, no, no. You're a powerful creative force. You are a sovereign being. You are a beautiful life. You are a creator. You are high conscious. You're highly conscious. You have levels of consciousness you don't even know about. And you're beautiful and you deserve to create a life that does not destroy you and hurt you and upset you and feel horrible and just drain you and then you die. I don't believe that's how we're meant to live. I just don't. And I believe that the power to not live that way is within each of you. But you have to then be willing to take the responsibility. Oh, I've just seen, before I go into looking at how we can see what it is that we ourselves are doing that is contributing to our burnout and therefore can alleviate. So that's the goal at the end of this little one, by the way. When you realize how you're contributing, you can say, I'm not going to do that. And it's so cool. But I have to just stop and say, hello, Ernie. Oh my goodness, my lovely soul. How long has it been? Maybe I don't want to calculate the years. It make me feel a bit old. Although great subject, and your thoughts are well put across, says Ernie. I appreciate you, my lovely. Thank you so much. And it's so nice to see you here. And I hope you're well. Oh, long time since the Unipart days. But I hope you're doing really, really well, my love. Thank you so much for tuning in. So I'm going to talk to you now about what you are doing, or maybe doing, and I'd like to invite you to take some time if you suffer with chronic stress and burnout. So before that we do that, let's just clarify what is burnout. So to me, it's like a slippery slope, right? So you start with stress. Oh, I'm feeling anxious. I'm feeling a bit nervous. And that can be a very good thing because maybe you're growing, you're being challenged, you're trying something new. Oh, the stress is ramping up a bit. Okay, cool. But you're still functioning, you're getting by, and it's like, okay, I'm having a moment of stress, and then it calms down and you can chill, that's all good. Then you get chronic stress. Now we're going down the slippery slope. You get chronic stress, which is constant. Every day I'm stressed, I'm anxious. My whole life has just this undertone of anxiety to it that becomes normal, that I don't even realize it's there anymore, even though it's really unhealthy and it's not normal. And so you're just constantly on edge, stressed, anxious, worried. You feel like your alarm bells are constantly ringing off. You can't relax. You're on high alert. You're always looking out for risk. Everything in life feels like, oh, there's a threat. You have a lot of tension in your body, and it's very unhealthy tension. It's very destructive tension. So that's chronic stress. Then it gets to the burnout, which is like depleted. You're done. So it says what it says on the tin, right? Burn out. Imagine a candle that's burnt out. The wick has burnt out. Imagine a fuel tank where all the fuel is burnt out. When you're really burnt out, you're done. You have no energy left. And as I say every week, energy is the currency of your life. You have no life left in you when you're burnt out because you're done. It's all gone. The energy is gone. And now, it's not like, oh, I'm stressed, I'm anxious. It's like, oh, I've got nothing. I got nothing to give. I can't drag myself out of bed right now. I don't care about the work that I used to love. I don't care about anything that I used to care about. That's the kind of thing we're talking about when you get to deep burnout. And so for me, I've sort of, again, we got to understand that because I think a lot of people are probably chronically stressed. That's where I tend to sit when I go down this road, but not fully burnt out. So just important to recognize how far you are, because I think the reason I've not really gone all the way to full burnout is I've managed to catch myself earlier in the process and pull myself back. So it's important to understand burnout is my energy's gone. And so this is where we now have a look at this. What are you doing? Energy is the currency of your life. If you're burnt out, you have no energy left. So the first question must be, well, where is my energy gone? If this being is empty and I'm burnt out or my fuel's gone, where is it gone then? Let's ask that question. And I'll give you some examples from my life, which is what causes me to get chronically stressed. Okay, I'm giving my energy to everybody and their dog. Any request at work, any request at home, any request. Can you do this project? Can you? Yes, 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 yes. I don't know how to say no. Yes, yes, yes. I'll take it on. I'll take it on. I'll take it on. Sometimes it's not that I need to say no, but I say yes too quickly. I don't stop and think and say, hang on, how long would this take? When can I do it by? I just go, yeah, I'll get it to you, I'll get it to you, I'll get it to you. And I'm just going around saying yes. I don't know how to say no. So I'm giving my energy to all these bits of work, everything. I'm taking on more and more and more and more. I feel responsible. I feel like I have to do it. I feel scared to say no, all these sorts of deeper things. And then all my energy's gone. And then I go, oh, I'm burnt out. Well, that's probably why. It's a key reason that people get burnt out is because they don't know how to set boundaries and say no. So other things that you're burning out, I give a lot of energy to people ask me questions and I'm like, okay, I've got to message that person. And then, a friend needs an hour on the phone to talk about their problems. Okay, cool. I'm going to talk to them because I want to hear them and I want to help them. But your energy, you only have so much energy. I come in the day with this much energy, and I've given all that to saying yes to all the projects that I haven't even got time for. Then I've given all that to helping other people in their problems. And then I've given all that to just doing a little bit of my own work. And then what's left? So now I'm burnt out. Now I'm empty. So we're not managing our own energy, and that's why we get burnt out. We're not conscious of and deliberate about where we put our limited, it's not limited, but we only have so much each day. We need to rest after that. We're not conscious about where we're putting our energy, where we're actually spending it. And as I say, that energy is the currency of your life. Are you getting a return on the investment? Often we're putting in energy into things that we cannot control. Did you spend 5 hours watching a news report on something that you cannot do anything about? Did you spend another 5 hours talking and ranting and complaining about it to your friends when you can have absolutely no impact on it? That's leaking your energy. That's an inefficient combustion engine, not acting like I even know what that really is. That's what's in a car, right? But that's an inefficient engine leaking energy. So the system is creating energy which should be fuel towards moving the car, but your energy, your engine's got holes in it, and you're wasting and leaking energy out there to things that you can't affect, you can't control, they're not your responsibility. I'm not saying ignore it. I'm not saying shut your eyes unless you really want to, and that's true for you. But there's many things going on in the world that will sap your energy, sap your life force, take it from you and give you nothing back because they're over there and you can't do anything about them. So it's a waste of energy. And then you're like, whoa, now I'm down there. Now I've depleted all that. And I'm doing it every day. Of course I'm going to be burnt out. So the other things that I think I do, and this is the other thing you got to look at, it's behaviors, but it's also your body, right? So if you're ever chronically stressed and burnt out, have a think about some of the things you're doing. I'll tell you some of the things I find myself doing. I don't get enough sleep. So sleep is where I'm filling my tank back up. So I burnt all my energy. I'm burnt out. Now, what would be sensible is I get some sleep and I recover. I eat good, nutritious food, so I recover. I spend my time resting, walking, whatever, doing things that refuel my mind, body, and soul. I do things that I love. I spend time with people that I love. Anything that fills you back up. So, this is the two things you're doing when you're burnt out. You're draining your energy and probably leaking it into all sorts and sending it in all sorts of directions. And then you're not filling yourself up back up properly either. So when we get stressed, we're more likely to go for the things that make us feel worse. Sorry, I know it's messed up, but you think, oh, I'm going to drink some alcohol to make myself feel better because I'm stressed. Alcohol gives you anxiety. Alcohol makes your body feel worse and more lethargic. And now your body needs more energy to try and process that alcohol and get it out of your system. And now you're even more tired because all your body's resources and energy is taken to that. I'm not saying never have a drink, but just think about what you're doing. I scroll through my phone at night looking at junk and addicted to my phone, and I can't stop even though I know it's bad for me. And then I don't get a good sleep because blue light on your eyes before sleep as well, all that stuff not good for you. And then I wake up feeling not so good. But you're more likely to be addicted if you're stressed. So you're now in that vicious cycle. And it's the behaviors, it's the seeking perfection. I've got a few notes here. Let's have a look. The overachievement, these are all coming from within you. The inability to say no, the lack of looking after yourself because you're people pleasing, trying to please everybody else and look after everybody else first. You got to feed everybody else first, then might have a little bit left for yourself, but you got none left because you gave it all to everybody else, and now you're empty. And then you say, "Oh God, I'm so burnt out," and then you go and get someone to try and help you, or you say it's the company's fault. I'm not saying the company doesn't have a role. The company has a very big role, but you are a sovereign being and an adult, and we, I believe, must take responsibility for ourselves because the company culture is not going to change overnight. Those huge workloads are not going to disappear overnight, if ever. If you were, I'll use the NHS as an example again. If you're sitting there facing 9 million, 5 million on a waiting list, you can't wait for that to go away. I don't know how that goes away. Who's looking at that strategically? I don't know. What do they do? I don't know what the options are. But if you're saying I'm burnt out and it's because of that, you've given your power to that. Now what are you going to do? Sit and wait until that goes? I don't know if it's ever going to go. So we got to come back and say, okay, what part of this is me? My behaviors. Am I taking care of myself? I'm depleting myself. I'm not refueling. I'm not re energizing. I'm not resting. I'm not setting my boundaries. I keep saying yes when I should be saying no. I'm not saying yes when I should be saying it. Maybe I'm not asking for help. Maybe I'm taking it all upon myself. Maybe I'm not being honest and saying to my team, look, I'm really struggling right now. Maybe they don't know you're struggling and they're giving you more work, more work, more work, more work. And you go, I'm so burnt out. Did you tell them? Did you say? It's a bit much for me because here's the thing. I've noticed this. And the reason, we're not going to go into the reasons, but the reasons you do these things is in your childhood, okay? It's all your childhood conditioning. I need a lot longer to go into that. But for example, I feel like I'm not allowed to say no. And I also feel like I'm not allowed to ask for help. That is the way that I've been conditioned in my childhood. So I'm playing that pattern out as an adult. But the thing is, the childhood pattern is not reflective of the adult reality. So just because in my child nurturing caregiver relationships, that's what I learn, it doesn't mean that's what's going to happen in my adult relationships now. So I find that when I do say to people in my adult relationships, other people out there, and I say, hey, do you know what? I need a moment actually. I'd love to do that for you, but I can't right now. I need you to wait a couple of weeks or whatever. They're actually fine with it. Or even, sorry, no, they're cool. Some of them actually really respect it. Some of them love it. Some of them know the importance of saying no and are glad that you've done it. But you won't know that until you start to do it. Okay, that's the thing about this stuff. If you want to see the power that you have in your own resilience, well being, and progress and success in life, you must be willing to take the actions and maybe wait a while before you can see the results. And maybe even wait a long while until you look back in hindsight and go, oh my God, yes, now I see. But often you will also see the results very quickly. Another little thing about what you might be doing to make your burnout worse, I mentioned it earlier, is your eating habits. And I do this. When I get stressed, I eat crap because it's like comfort food. I like bread. Give me a whole loaf of bread and I'll shove it in my face. And I love it. And it's really bad. It's not good. And I don't, and because I'm in a rush, I'm just going to grab the quicker foods. And because I'm just feeling like, I don't care about myself as much. My body always comes last for me because I've got to get the work done. I've got to do the things for everybody else. I come last. And then my body feels awful and I'm drained and I have no energy or vitality. And then I say, I don't feel good and I'm burned out. And then I go to the doctor, say, help me. And then I go to my company, I say, it's your fault. I go to my friends and say, oh, your fault. You blame her. It's you also. I didn't need to go down that road because also I know when I'm doing it, I just don't always change. I'm going to eat the bread anyway. Okay. And I'm not saying don't eat bread. I love bread. But I know that it doesn't make me feel energized if I have too much of it. So I know the truth. So this is where we insert a little bit of our own will and say, well, my choice today, even if I don't feel like it, is I'm going to do this thing. I'm going to not eat that and I'm going to choose this instead. And afterwards, I did it this morning. I finally, again, I used to make a green smoothie thing in those NutriBullets um, every day. And I stopped doing it when I get stressed and I get, oh, and I don't feel good and I feel low. And I did it again. I was like, got up and I did it and I drank it. It tastes so good. I feel great already because I've got this goodness going through my system. It was me. And also, here's the funny thing, I work for myself. So if I'm going to say, well, it's the workload and the toxic workplace, who am I going to blame for that? It's all me. It's all me. And I know that I say it again, I'm not blaming anybody. I'm not saying that there isn't problems with culture out there, company cultures and so on, and workloads. But those things are going to take a while to resolve. I'm not even sure how ready people are to resolve. I think a lot of companies still look at their staff and say, well, you've got to deal with your burnout in the way that I'm saying it. But here's the thing, it's not one or the other. It's not you got to deal with your burnout or no, you, the company, have to sort it out. We've all got to do this. The company has to sort it out and the individual has to take responsibility. I'm not a fan of this idea that it's all in one camp or the other. I'm not a fan of blaming anyone. I'm a fan of working in reality, and reality is company culture is key and needs to be looked at and worked on. And people are not robots, they cannot be hammered with so much work all day, every day that's stressing them out. You've got to be sensible about this, you've got to work it out. But also, you are not a powerless little minion, okay? You're a powerful, conscious creator of your life. You're a supremely intelligent being and you deserve and can create health and wellness, but no one's going to do it for you. No one's coming here and taking that bread out of my face when I'm like stuffing and binge eating because I'm so stressed. Like, I don't know what it is about the bread today, but you learn a new thing about me on every session. Um, no one's doing that for me. I gotta do it. So we have to realize that a lot of things relating to your burnout and your chronic stress is within your control. So you can sit down and take a look at that and actually write it down. When I'm burnt out, when I'm stressed, when I'm chronically stressed, what am I doing? Write it down and be honest with yourself. Behaviors, body, actions, even thoughts. If you want to go deeper, what am I feeling? What am I thinking? Get into that and really map out your experience and what you're doing. And look, if you're new to this world of personal development, it might be quite hard for you to have that level of self reflection and for it to come through with ease. Maybe you can help find someone to help you with that. But if you can go there, you'll get really enlightened. And self awareness, I always say, is the number one life skill. And you will see what you're doing because it is the inability to say no and set boundaries. And then you think about why. Why can't I say no to that workload? And if you're willing to really go into it, you'll learn your dysfunctional beliefs that are telling you you're not allowed, you don't deserve it, you're going to get this, you're going to get punished, you're going to get rejected, and it's going to hurt so much, and blah, 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 blah. And then you make a choice. Well, do I want to live by that? Or do I want to grow and develop into a sovereign, powerful being and live in reality, which is I can only do so much? So, I haven't got time to go down that road right now, but really for me, the first thing is just to reflect. Reflect on yourself. What am I doing? Honestly, candidly, just for you, don't have to tell anybody else that may be contributing to my own stress. What am I doing? Ask yourself, ask your intuition. You are your own guru. I say that every week as well. You know the truth inside yourself. You may not want to look at it. You may not want to admit it, but the truth shall set you free. And as they say, but first it will you off. So, look, man, this journey isn't for everyone. Some people like to live in the illusion. It's not me, it's everybody else, it's the world. Yes, 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 I get it. Look, I just bought this book, The Toxic Culture. He wrote a whole book on culture and the toxicity. Yes, yes, it is. I'm not saying it's not, but I'm saying also it's you. That's life. And you can grab that and go, wow, it's me too. How powerful am I? I can do something. I'm having an effect. I am a creator. I am a contributor. And that to me is empowering. Not everyone wants to do that. Some people are, oh, it's not me, it's you. I just sit back and wait for you to sort it out and make me feel better. I'm not judging you either way. Do what you want. But I'm just saying that I prefer the other way to say, step into my power. Let's look at me. What am I doing? How can I change? How can I handle the situation better? As they say, it's not what happens to you, it's how you deal with it, it's how you respond to it. Because life is always going to be hard. If you're waiting for a day of bubble wrap and a life of comfort, you're on the wrong planet. I don't know if there's another planet in the universe where people live like that. If so, please let me know. I'd very happily go there. But as far as I know, planet Earth is a ghetto and it's really tough. Life is hard here. So we have to realize that's reality. And all I really have control and influence over is how I deal with it. I cannot affect what's going on out there. I cannot control and change other people. If I'm in a company of 10,000 people and it's toxic, what can I really do about that? I'm not saying ignore it or accept it and say it's fine. Be aware this ain't good for me. Oh, do I need to look at my role? What can I do? Do I need to leave? I don't know the answer. You do because you are your own guru. But until you take the responsibility back, you will never even have that conversation with yourself because you'll just be looking at everyone else going, it's your fault, fix it. We get nowhere like that. The whole of humanity will get nowhere if we just keep palming it off. But it's both. I'm going to close with that. Remember, I'm not saying it's not the company responsibility. I love the idea and I envisage the reality, and I hope I have a role in playing in a program where a company actually says we're going to consciously create a culture of well-being and resilience, and we're going to make a whole program out of it, and we're going to do the analysis and the research to understand our current levels, and we're going to, as a proper change program like I did in consulting in many years, to actually map it out and say where are we at, what are we measuring, what's our vision, and then actually work towards creating that as a culture and a way of well-being. So I would love that, but I don't know how many companies are even interested in that. Right now, it's still here, have a gym membership, have a counseling session. And I'm not saying don't do that. Like, great that we're trying stuff, but it's a very haphazard approach. You need to know your vision. What is well-being and resilience in your organization? What does that actually look like? Because what it is for you is in Tesla is not the same as what it is in for the NHS. I write about this in my newsletter. If you're on LinkedIn and you're not subscribed to my Wellbeing in the Workplace newsletter, do go and find that on my page or my posts or articles, and subscribe to that, because this is the kind of thing I'm talking about there. Wellbeing culture is where it's at. And actually, if you're doing interventions without thinking about your vision, so let's say you're doing Tesla's doing this for well-being and you're in the NHS, so you go, well, let's copy them. Two completely different environments, completely different industries, completely different people. It's probably not going to work. So we don't just copy, you get blank slate and say, right, our team, our company, who we are, and let's work out what does it look like for us when our people are well and resilient and vitalized and growing and expanding and contributing and fulfilled. I'm not saying they can be like that 24/7. No one is. But at least we should aim for that. And we might get pretty close to it most of the time, some of the time. All the time, why not? Why do it by halves? For me, like, you got to go all in. But you got to create that vision first, and then you work back. Okay, so how do we create that? And actually, gym membership may not be the answer. And if you give your staff gym membership when what they need is maybe a more caring and compassionate work environment, they're probably going to hate you even more, because you're just showing that you don't understand them and you haven't looked closely and you haven't asked them. And that's not going to help, right? Oh, I've just got another comment. Stephen, hello, lovely. So nice to see you. Another, this is like the Unipart gang here today. Stephen and Ernie, so nice. Oh, I'm getting emotional seeing you both. You just haven't seen you for so long, and you're just such important people in my life and my career, and it's just an absolute joy to see you. I'm literally getting emotional. How embarrassing. Oh dear, this is me. If you saw my post earlier on LinkedIn, I wrote a post. I'm going to read your comment in a moment, Stephen. I wrote a post earlier. A lady did an awesome video about highly sensitive people. They say about 20% or so of people are what we call highly sensitive, and you feel everything, you just feel everything. And this again, if you don't understand that and manage that, you get burnt out really quickly. And it's not the same for people who are not like that. So self-awareness is always key. So this is what I'm saying. I just get really emotional, and this is just to say it now. But Stephen says, Pinky, so much truth in what you're saying. When we do burn ourselves out, it takes time to recover, and productivity is less. Absolutely. It's also why we need to watch out for burnout in others around us that we rely on. That's so true, Stephen. I love that. Thank you for sharing that. We do this together, right? I know I've been talking a lot today about what you can do for yourself, but I'm really glad you said that, Stephen, because we're social beings. We need to do this together. We need to care for each other. If you're the kind of person that burns out because of like things like people pleasing and so on, and your insecurities and your fears which are driving that, you're probably least likely to be the person who's also going to speak out and say, hey, by the way, I'm struggling, I need a break, can someone help me out here? And so, like Steven says, if you can be a person that is keeping an eye out for those, and then you can help. Hey, how are you doing? Are you okay? Be aware of others, support others. This is why I said earlier, to me, the organization is a social entity. I know it's there to make business, it's money and business, but a corporation is a social entity because it's a group of people coming together. It's a little society in itself, and it impacts who we become. We spend so much time there. So if we can make it a wonderful place as best we can, then when you leave that office, you're going to be a better place in your work, in your life, with your children. Your children are going to have a better role model. And it all centers around what goes on in that company, which at the moment is just seen as a profit making organization with maybe some nice visions of things they want to do for their clients, which is fine. But in my view, we will take it to the next level now, because it's not just an organization, it's a key hub of society, of people, and it's forming us. What goes on in a company is shaping us and forming humanity. So getting those companies right is key. Um, so yeah, absolutely, Stephen. Thank you so much for that comment. I appreciate you and I appreciate everybody. I'm going to sign out now because I do need to get on with some bits and bobs for the rest of the day. And I just want to say thank you. And just so lovely to see Ernie and Stephen as well. And Celia, as always, my darling. I hope you've all enjoyed. And I will see you again next week. I don't know what the topic will be. If anything comes up for you, do send me a comment, write me a message. I'm very happy to take suggestions. And do I have anything else to share today? No, other than I love you. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. Please take care of yourselves. Put yourself first. You're allowed to do that. You must do that. Energy is the currency of your life. Spend it wisely. Nurture yourself. And yeah, have a lovely, lovely weekend. Take care, everybody. Thank you, Saliha. Bye bye bye. See you soon. Oh, thank you, Ernie. Mwah.